ANC NEC meeting this weekend started on an expected controversial note. The party's suspended Secretary General Ace Magashule was in attendance. However, some members objected to his presence and he was soon ejected from the meeting. The NEC is meeting amid divisions in its ranks over the step-aside resolution, which resulted in Magashule being suspended. Recordings from the NEC meeting have since leaked online. For more on this, we are joined by our senior reporter, Aviwe Mtila. Aviwe, it's been an interesting weekend, actually week, for the ANC, with people suspending each other, and now yesterday finding out that the Secretary General was kicked out of the meeting. But tell me more about these voice recordings that have been leaked.
Certainly, they are part of the ANC virtual meeting, which suggests that because of the technological advancements, there will be leaks. And of course, we have some of those leaks that talk to the state of the organization, the dire state, in fact, with factions pulling in different directions. There are two statements, Maseko, that I want to talk to that were part of those leaks. One, in fact, was a question asking whether do we still have an organization called the ANC? That is a question that was posed by the ANC Limpopo chairperson and Premier Stan Mathabata, while in support, saying that the president should be supported. He wondered whether the factional battles within the party, whether there was an organization or was it 2 or 3 different factions pulling apart in the name of the ANC. The other is a statement that we understand came from the ANC Women League's president, Bathabile Dlamini, basically saying that the movement is about to collapse. It talks at the state of the factional divisions and what's currently going on in the ANC. You understand it's the second day, but the first day of the meeting, the ANC SG himself suspended Ace Magashule, was taken out of that meeting after he said himself that he had appealed, but Gwede Mantashe, we understand the chairperson of that meeting, heard none of that. And also Bongani Bongo, who was also accused, was also taken out of that meeting. Another person that came in, a voice of the stalwarts, former President Thabo Mbeki, came in posing those questions of those statements, asking the chairperson just to look at those questions and those threatening statements that threaten the unity of the party. Let's just listen in on the leak that we have from former President Thabo Mbeki.
Some other comments have made similarly very really serious remarks about the state of organization. The comrade Chupo, I think that's how you pronounce the name, much earlier had called for a retreat. And he said that retreat must discuss this question. Do we still have any organization called the ANC? That's a very, very serious challenge, comrades, that a comrade says we need to meet, he said 2 or 3 day retreat, seriously to look at this matter. Is followed by Comrade Batabile, and Comrade Moko spoke in support of Batabile. Both of them representing the Women's League. And the central point that Comrade Batabile made is this, that the movement is about to collapse. I'm saying, Comrade Chair, you have this question. Do we still have any organization called the ANC? Second comrade says, on behalf of the Women's League, the movement is about to collapse.
But Aviwe, I believe the former president is not the only person that had something to say, and his voice note was also leaked.
Certainly, it talks of the corruption, in fact, within the organization, some of the members that have been implicated by that contentious step-aside resolution. You'll understand that was adopted in the NASREC 2017 conference, but some of the members are saying that it must be adopted in its entirety. You'd understand now it looks at those that are criminally charged, but in its original inception, the comrades inside are saying that it must be taken as it was adopted in the NASREC conference, which suggests that even if you are just accused of corruption, you should also step aside. You understand there's a slew of senior ANC members that are currently impacted by that. You understand Zandile Kumende in KwaZulu-Natal, Sindisiwe Gomba, Olimla Mleli, the SG, Ace Magashule, Bongani Bongo, and a number of others that are currently involved in that step-aside resolution. But Dakota Lekgota suggests that there could be plenty more if corruption is really digged into the African National Congress. Let's just listen in on what Dakota Lekgota had to say.
this NEC, if it was to have integrity, reputation in dealing with corruption, I think those ones must also be included, because there are many of us in this meeting who are facing serious allegations of corruption. And I think for as long as we preside and become judges on our own cases, it's not going to help this movement in dealing with corruption, because we might single out the SG, but there are many of us here who are even worse than him in terms of corruption. And until we are also unmasked, the ANC will not deal effectively enough against corruption. I don't want to defend the SG, I'm not his lawyer or representative, but I think it will only be fair that all corrupt elements in our movement, we must deal with them without any prejudice, favor, or any reservation. And I think the sooner we get to that point, the better, the good for us as the ANC, because I don't think we are dealing with issues seriously.
Of course, we're hearing more reports of this corruption, the allegations of corruption that Ntatele is talking about. Now we're hearing of the Deputy President and Paul Mashatile also now being embroiled in some corruption. But going back to the NEC and what's been happening this weekend, Aviwe, the battle lines have always been drawn, but it looks like the gloves are off now. The factions are actually fighting in public, people showing exactly who they're supporting. What can we expect? I know the meeting ends tomorrow, but what can we expect today? Maybe more leaks?
Certainly more leaks coming out, and you question the timing of this ongoing divisions within the African National Congress. You see these factions pulling apart in different directions, clear divisions, clear splits within the governing African National Congress. Peculiar timing as we are headed for the local government elections, while other parties are now gearing up for those elections. The ANC seems to be pulling in different directions. What will it do going to those local government elections? You'd see the trend in previous elections. What has happened 2016 local government elections where they lost key metros. What has happened even in previous elections where the numbers are diminishing, the numbers of the voters of the ANC in the ground. So one begs the question, what will happen with all these divisions that are engulfing the governing African National Congress going into those local government elections, Masach?